Gemini. This is Lost Twin Tarot. My name is Colette. If you haven't viewed me before, this is going to be your monthly reading for April. Um, this is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to do a three cards, one for the beginning, one for the middle, and one for the end of the month with the Lenormand oracle cards. I'm going to do three cards for each part for the beginning, middle, and end, and then I'm going to do one clarifier for each part or for each card in each section. Um so it seems like it hasn't been too long for each one or anything. It seems like they're about average length. Um, so yeah. Um, keep in mind, Gemini, these are general readings. Just take the pieces that resonate and leave the rest. Gemini, when I was meditating on your cards for the month of April, um, I felt like I felt like you have been. I feel like you've been really um I feel like you've been really confused lately, but like I feel like more than usual. I mean, to say a confused Gemini, that's not really saying anything different, right? But I feel like you've been really kind of confused lately, more than usual, and I feel like you've been confused for a while. I almost feel like I feel like almost like when you have something that you're conflicted with, like inner wound or something like that. Um, I almost feel like when you can't um understand it, you I don't want to say take it out on the people around you, but you feel like something is wrong with the people around you because you're trying to figure out yourself or something like that. um it's like you feel like something's wrong with your relationship or something like that, but in reality, your partner might treat you just fine. um and it's just something that you need, like you might need to work out within yourself. Or maybe it's your job, like your job is okay, but you know, you might feel like you need to like jump ship, even though it's like, wait a minute, everything's okay here right now, don't do that yet. I feel like it's just something like that you're trying to like you're trying to let go of some wounds. um I feel like you might be trying to do that in the month of April. I feel like you're going to be trying to um, do that with the weather. If the weather is getting nicer where you're at, maybe you might be trying to do that. Like you're trying to spend more time outside. I feel like you might be trying to like understand yourself better as well. So you have number 16, star, hope, dream, inspiration, wish, achievement, progress to goals. You have number 26, book, education, knowledge, research, unknown, mystery, secret. You have number 5, tree, health, growth, spiritual, vitality, karma, and from the past. So that's for the beginning, middle, and the end. A lot of people are getting the sun. I really like to see that. You have the 5 of Swords on the bottom. So in the first part of the month, you have strength, the 9 of Swords and the Sun. You have the High Priestess with strength, the 3 of Swords with the 9 of Swords, the 7 of Swords with the Sun. With the second part of the month, you have the Devil with the 6 of Cups. You have the Ace of Swords with the 3 of Cups. You have the 7 of Swords with the 8 of Swords. The last part of the month, you have the Page of Swords with the 3 of Pentacles. You have the 6 of Swords with the Magician. You have the Magician with the Seven of Wands. A lot of doubles in here. And you have the Ace of Wands on the bottom. Alright. I'm sorry, Gemini. My back is like freaking killing me. This chair is just not working for me. Okay. So, for the first part of the month, you have 16, number 16, that could be significant for some of you. And you notice this says hope, dream, inspiration, wish, achievement, progress to goals. And on this picture, it's a house with a big star up above it and it's lighting up. So, this can really represent, inside, your this really represents inside your mind. If you ever look at dream books, it always like the house represents your mind, the house represents your subconscious, and different parts of the house represents each different parts of like your brain or different parts of like your emotions. So I really feel like this is kind of saying like, something's, your emotions are going to start feeling better. I feel like you're trying to hope, you're trying to dream something, you're trying to achieve something, whether this is emotional or, actually seeing something come to life. I feel like this is more emotional though. You have the Strength and the High Priestess first. These are two, major arcanas. The Strength card is all about, pulling out that quiet strength, and Geminis, they do have that quiet strength. They don't show anybody really their weaknesses. And if they do, then they are really breaking down. But they don't really show their weaknesses. They are very, pretty much cool, calm, collected, and they can just put on that brave, happy face pretty much anytime they need to, anytime they want. And, when you're going throughout your day and going throughout your life, it's pretty much that's what you've been doing. And you haven't even realized how well you've been doing this. You've been, showing how you've been pulling out so much, you know, strength. I mean, you haven't even realized. It's like a realization that you didn't know how much strength that you've actually had until almost like you kind of take a reflection or a recap of what you've been doing. With the High Priestess, I feel like it's almost like, I like to think of the High Priestess as almost like a preview of what's to come. Um, it's like they say like what's behind the curtain with the High Priestess, but it's also does she doesn't reveal everything, but she also is going to show you so much. She does reveal some mystery, but she also has so much more to see. Sometimes they say the Hierophant is the thing that is supposed to not reveal any secrets. He's like the person you go to, you know, before you see anything. And then the High Priestess is what reveals the secret. But then it's almost like what remains to be seen, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And because what remains to be seen, you haven't been able to see it, so you've had so much strength this whole time just going through this process. You have the Nine of Swords and the Three of Swords, and I feel like, that's definitely, you know, Gemini energy. You've been going through this almost like this round and round Nine of Swords nightmare. You've been dealing with, whether this is kind of like in your head with anxiety. You've been dealing with a situation where you've just lived with it for so long, and you've been just kind of comfortable grieving. I feel like you've just been comfortable grieving. You're like, well, this is a part of my life. I just deal with it. And I feel like you're almost letting that go now with that hope, dream, inspiration, wish, achievement, progress to goals. I mean, you could be progress is progressing to heal. Healing is progress. And because you're healing and making that progress, your life starts to take shape for the better. Because when you start to heal, or whatever it is you're doing, letting go of these, swords in your heart, or letting go of that confusion, that anxiety, whatever it is, take it how it resonates, you start to see things change. You might feel more confident. You might feel more approachable. You might feel like these people aren't looking at me like I thought they would. Um, you might just be able to have a little bit more hope when it comes to um, waking up every morning. You might just feel a little bit different when you start to, see that progress in your life, when you start to feel a little bit more, feel like you're achieving, you know, these goals that actually aren't very small. They seem small, but they're actually turning into something very big for you. You have the Seven of Swords and the Sun. And I feel like what this is that, the Seven of Swords can be about that lying, cheating, stealing. And, maybe I feel like what this can really represent is that, you know, it can really represent that you're doing this quietly and you're keeping this to yourself. You're not really letting anybody, um, you're not really letting anybody, know what you're doing. I feel like you're kind of just doing this progress, this journey, this dream, this achievement, whatever you're doing, you're kind of just doing this on your own. I feel like that definitely could be for some of you. In a way, I feel like it could also represent that you feel like somebody has stolen, your joy, your happiness, your sun. I feel like that's kind of what has happened to you. Um, I feel like, but it's not happening anymore. Um, I feel like now because that star is there, now you have hope, you have wish, you have inspiration. And I feel like you're finally starting to see that, and now you're realizing that it's your time to be able to have that. So that's what I'm seeing for the first part of April for you, Gemini. For the second part, you have number 26, book. And I feel like those really go hand in hand together. Number 26, book. Education, knowledge, research, unknown, mystery, and secret. So I feel like you could be trying to find out, something. I feel like this confusion that you're going through, as always, I feel like you feel like you're going through mass confusion. I feel like you're trying to figure out the mystery of life. I feel like, I myself, that's why I made this channel, Lost Twin Tarot. I feel like Geminis are always kind of just searching for this mystery. It's like we never can find like the answers that we're looking for. Um, and I feel like why you might be trying to maybe educate yourself on some things. I feel like you could be doing maybe some more reading than you normally do. This could be on maybe self-help or on spiritual stuff. You could be looking up, maybe reading up some like blogs. Maybe just doing some different things, like just trying out some like more like maybe different type of like treatments. Maybe you're doing maybe you're like educating yourself on stuff. Maybe you're trying to do like Reiki or something. I feel like I'm getting for some of you. Um you have the Devil and the Six of Cups. Yeah, and I feel like that devil energy is kind of what you have been dealing with for a long time. I feel like when I did your weekly reading last week, I feel like some of it was a little bit heavy. Um I feel like it's almost that's kind of what you're going through. Like you're might be carrying some old wounds, whether this was from childhood, whether this was from not even that long ago, but it's something that happened to you that really hurt you. Something that was pretty traumatic, that you're carrying. Um, I feel like this is something that you're trying to let go of. You're trying to get back to the Six of Cups environment. Um, I feel like in a way this could have definitely happened in childhood. You have a lot of cards here that resemble, from children. You have another Seven of Swords over here. You get like somebody like took something from you, somebody robbed something from you. And you have it says mystery on there as well. And I feel like you almost feel like things are going to um remain a mystery in a sense. And I feel like you're almost coming to terms, with that's going to have to be that way. And you're understanding that. With that Six of Cups, this is one of my favorite cards. With that Six of Cups, I love hot air balloons. It's so whimsical. it's like those two kids are on their side, and it's like those mountains are on there, and it's almost like all those mountains, like they represent all those obstacles of, like, life. But with all those beautiful hot air balloons, it's like that's like the beauty of like childhood. And they never show you all those obstacles when you're a kid. They never, like, you never see any of that. You never know any of that until it happens to you. All you see is the beauty of that. With the next one, you have the Ace of Swords and the Three of Cups. I feel like this could be you getting some, um, feeling like you're getting some clarity with some things over maybe, Three of Cups can represent healing. It can represent a group of people. Maybe you're starting to, be more involved, with family that you trust. This doesn't have to be blood family. This can be your family that you are like under your roof now if you're older, and have your own family. This can be just a new type of environment that you're starting in. Maybe you're taking up a hobby and now you're starting to spend time with them. But the Three of Cups, you have the Three of Swords, and you have the Three of Cups right underneath that. And then you have the Six of Swords underneath that at the end of the month. But I feel like this is almost like the Ace of Swords. It represents, um, you know, that this crown on this Ace of Swords. That crown represents being able to master your, how do I word this? Being able to master your ability to think before you act. So it's like you're being able to control how you, being able to pretty much control your, how you're thinking, you're processing. I mean, to a point, we're being able to control the way our thinking and our emotions before we act and do things, and before we like speak. Um, so you're learning how to, you know, almost do that. It's like I feel like it's almost like you've been, if you're like going out with people and you haven't been for a long time, I feel like maybe you've been a little bit scared to do that. And now that you maybe are, you're feeling like you're in more control of your of your emotions, of your filter. We may be Geminis, we don't have much of a filter, do we? And I feel like now maybe because you feel little bit more control of things, you feel a little bit more content, a little bit more um emotionally controlled, just because you don't feel so, so sad, like broken in a way. You feel like you can actually go out and be around people. I hope that makes sense. Um, you have the Seven of Swords and the Eight of Swords. And I feel like this can be really, the Eight of Swords is all about that feeling of, is one of my least favorite cards in the tarot. And I feel like it's because it's self inflicted. It's all about putting ourselves in that cage. Um, I can't, I shouldn't, I'll know I'm not good enough to do that. It's all about being stuck in our head. But I feel like with the Seven of Swords, it's almost like, did we really put ourselves there, or did somebody else put us there with the Seven of Swords? I feel like that energy was almost put there by somebody else. Like, it's the same type of energy with that Seven of Swords, like somebody robbed you of that childhood. It's right underneath here. Like somebody robbed you of that, and then they robbed you of that innocence, of that confidence, and stuck you in that Eight of Swords mentality. I'm sorry, Gemini, if this is a little bit heavy, but that's just what I'm picking up. Um, or if this isn't resonating for you, um, I feel like it could also be that you're almost trying to um, maneuver your way out of this. You're slowly and trying to tactfully move your way out of this environment. Um, and you're doing it in a way where you're moving yourself kind of out of that, like you're moving yourself out of that mentality. And it could be through education, it could be through research, it could be, you know, almost in secret. You have that secret card, you have that Seven of Swords, and I feel like that could also be it. You're doing everything almost in secret. It's like you don't want to draw attention to yourself, through your journey because you don't, almost like you're afraid people are going to derail you because they're going to start talking about it or something like that. It's like you don't want to, it's almost like you don't want people to like jinx you or something like that. That's what I have for you for the middle part of April, Gemini. That's what I'm getting for you. I'm sorry if this reading's a little bit heavy. Um, let's go into the last part. You have number 5, tree. Health, growth, spiritual, vitality, karma, and from the past. I feel like the cards just kind of talk to each other. So, I mean, it's kind of just what I'm getting. And the tree, it's so nice. It says, it's growth, it's spiritual. When you look at a tree, it's all about, that tree of life. It's just, it's something about it. You have the Page of Swords and the Three of Pentacles. So I definitely feel like, the Page of Swords is all about learning. It's a card of you being maybe a little bit stubborn in a way. It is air energy. Maybe you wanted to do things your own way. You wouldn't have done things, the typical way somebody else would have done them. But you're doing things your own way and you're learning along the way. You could be possibly learning in a group, in a school-like environment with the Three of Pentacles. I feel like you're receiving recognition as well. I feel like, people are starting to notice. I feel like you might not be telling anybody about this, but I feel like people are starting to notice maybe your, upbeat attitude. Maybe you're feeling a little bit better. And I feel like people are starting to notice. Maybe you're not, crying, you know, as much. Maybe you're going out a little bit more. Maybe you're just taking care of yourself a little bit more. These subtle changes people are noticing. Maybe you're changing your hair or your outfits or something. You're just doing things to, kind of brighten yourself up. And people are noticing. Maybe you're just smiling some like more. I feel like people are taking it. It says spiritual and it says growth, and that's exactly what's happening. Your spirit is you're having a spiritual growth process here. You have the Magician and the Six of Swords, and I feel like this is exactly what you've been trying to do for a really long time. I feel like you've been trying to manifest this for a long time. I feel like you've been trying to call down and trying to pull, trying to use all those tools. I feel like you've been trying to make this happen. I feel like you've been trying to manifest this for a long time. You've been trying to call out and say, I surrender. Please, get me, to a calmer area. Please let me move on. And I feel like that's what you've been trying to do. You've been trying to go across these choppy waters and you're finally getting to that area. And lastly, you have the Magician again with the Seven of Wands. And I feel like, what this is saying, this is all about the Seven of Wands is all about, standing your ground, never backing down. And I don't feel like you ever have, Gemini. I feel like you've always stood by what you believed in. I feel like you've never backed down. I feel like you've always done what's right. And I feel like if that's made you maybe be an outcast in some ways, maybe lose friends, maybe, kind of look like, the black sheep in some ways, I feel like, you may have kind of not fit in or just, people didn't believe you or whatever it was. I feel like you always stood your ground and it was always the right thing to do. The Seven of Wands is all about having the upper hand. And it's almost like he on this card, he's walking in with like a bouquet, like he's going somewhere to someone who that he loves. And he has this umbrella on and it's like he has this umbrella and he's going into this this place covered in leaves and it's like he's going into this dark area. This card's almost like a little bit confusing in a way because it's not raining or anything. It's almost like it's like a really confusing card. I always thought, but I always felt like it was also meant to kind of show that it's not raining, but it's like he's protected, um, for good reason. Um, but I feel like this reading is saying a lot, Gemini. I feel like I'm sorry that it's a little bit deep and a little bit long. I apologize. But it looks really, really, it looks really good for you. It looks like there's going to be a lot of growth in the month of April for you. It looks like things are starting to turn around for you. It's like slow and steady wins the race, for sure. Keep doing what you're doing. Always, stand up for what you believe in. Don't ever, back down for, anybody for sure. And just keep, keep being the good person that you are for sure. And, just definitely follow your hopes and dreams, like, it's saying. Um, there's definitely a lot of brightness and sun here for you. I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you so much for viewing me today. I really hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And until then, enjoy your month very much. And I hope to see you at the next reading. Thanks. Bye.